Bees and Kings Elite Talk was so cringy and weird and just like almost delusional based.
I've been in my bag for a minute. I got time today, I might spend it.
What's going on, everybody? It's Tyler Xavier, and thank you again for watching another video on Kappachinotv, obviously. Now listen, excuse the appearance. I've been doing stuff all day. I'm tired, but I knew I had to knock this out. And I needed a little help, so I got some champagne in the back, okay? Because this video is gonna be so long, and a lot went on in this episode, but before I get into all that, make sure you guys subscribe, and if you have not already, please check out episode 4 of the Elite Battle ATL. And if you need to catch up all the way, episodes 3, 2, and 1 will be linked in the description. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright, so as you guys know, I love doing my reviews because I feel like I never got a chance to really be myself fully or say how I feel about certain situations, because when energy was in front of me, people were totally different. So now watching the show, I love to see everyone's comments and feedbacks and confessionals, and I like to keep people honest. I like to keep the show honest, and I like to give you guys like behind the scenes stuff. So before I get into the video as a whole, let's talk about this house party. So as you guys know, myself, Mulatto, Ty, and Teach all pretty much made an alliance, right? So we knew we were gonna make the alliance. So we had phone conversations outside the show a lot, and I'll get to one of those in a minute. But what I will say, when my team all arrived at the house party, this was something that you guys did not see. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Tonka was like fanning himself, and Tonka was very like upset. So the house that we were at was actually Lulu's house. So Lulu was obviously on the other team. So a lot of my team, like members or mates or whatever, felt like it was not fair that we had the house at Lulu's house, because Lulu, he often throws parties. Like that's what he's, he hosts events. He's an MC. He throws parties. He's well known. He's known. He's well known. Yeah. So they just felt like it wasn't fair. Now for me, I didn't really care because I was just like, it is what it is. Like we had to have a location, and I mean, like it is what it is. But I know a lot of my team felt like that was not fair. That was team number 1. Just so you guys know, the house was at Lulu's house, and that was an issue. Now with team number 2, so well, actually, we're gonna say team number 2, and we're gonna go through the video. I took notes again because, as you guys know, the ADHD be killing me. But okay, so it pretty much starts off kind of where it ended, and it's pretty much like, it's just a party. A lot of it was fluff, so I'm gonna try to fly through it. But I do know Melly has a lot of opinion about who did what he did, and all this other stuff. So, Melly was talking to Mulatto, and, they were on the Circle Atlanta together, which is also on Watch Our View TV. And they were just saying, like, we got to have each other's back. While this is happening, in Melly's confessional, he keeps saying that nobody did anything, And my thing is, I really want to know, what do you do at a house party? Like, because what everyone was doing was having a house party. And if my recollection is, clear, then he wasn't doing anything either, besides being a mess and trying to delegate when he has no room to delegate. So every time he kept saying nobody was doing anything, it was just like, okay, but what are you doing? So if nobody's doing anything, that includes you as well, right? And I hope so. To Mulatto, and they were like, oh, final two or whatnot. And Mulatto peeped the game and was like, we all know you take the talking to the end, which we all knew that's what his plan was. Like, it's pretty obvious that that was the plan, which is okay. I think that's a good plan, because obviously I had like a number 1 or a top 2 as well. But for some reason, mine is the only one people talk about, but that's neither here nor there. And as we continue on in the episode, Melly is continuing to say he bought the alcohol, he bought the food, he bought decorations, he did this, he did this, he did this. And he still feel like people are walking around here saying that him and them are equal. Clearly, that was about me because of the comment in the first episode. And let me just say this. So what you guys don't know is that we all had like this Zoom call that you guys saw in the first, in episode 3 about what we were going to bring. There was also like behind the scene, like extra clips that the show has that you can see as well. And that day, I don't know if you guys remember, but I attempted to make a flyer, but I guess it wasn't good enough. I went around saying, what is everyone bringing? Teach said she was bringing some Rotel dip. Ty was bringing a bottle. I was bringing like cake and stuff, and like paper plates and stuff like that. And then Tonka and Melly said they were going to start to get chicken. But by the time the challenge came, he decided to make a whole new flyer or he decided to do all this stuff. No one told him to do that. He wanted to do that by himself. So if you felt a way about that, then you shouldn't have did it. And I just feel like, of course you did everything because you decided to do everything. No one told you to do none of that. No one told you to get all those bottles, like that big thing of alcohol. We all could have like chipped in if that was the case, but he never said anything. Because all I knew, he was going to the store to get some chicken, which is fine. But it's just like, if you really like felt a way about doing all that, then you should have said something. But he never did. At least he didn't tell me. He might have told Tonka, but he never told me, and I'm pretty sure he never told Ty. And I'm also pretty sure he didn't tell Teach. So that leaves like one other person that he'll talk to, and that's probably Tonka. So after we get from that charade of him saying that no one did anything, we got another scene in confessional of Teach basically talking about the alliance. Now this alliance originally is the core four. So me, Ty, Mulatto, and Teach. And then we decided to kind of go out more. Mulatto really wanted Jay to be in it at one point, but we'll get to that. I didn't know she was working on King at that point. And then there was Tuesday. Now, oh Lord. Tuesday being added to the alliance was supposed to be Ty's job, right? And there's just some, yeah, that was Ty's job to be added to the alliance. But honestly, that kind of was just gonna fall through. So, but we'll get to more of that later on in the show. As the party's progressing, as you see, I'm over here with a drink. And let me just say this, the confessionals, I told you I hate the way my skin looked. I look high, I look everything. But during the episodes, my skin looks great. And thank God for Jesus for that, because yeah, I loved my skin in the episodes. But anyway, so throughout the night, Jay is being Jay, like he's being a reality star, right? He's causing mess. He's like a force multiplier, as what they call people. And he never rubbed me the wrong way. Like the whole night, I was never rubbed the wrong way, but I think it's because I understood him. He was being direct. He was being funny, messy, shady. Like that's what you do. I didn't get rubbed the wrong way, but he did rub half the cast the wrong way. He rubbed Melly the wrong way because I guess Jay dropped the highlighter or whatever the glow stick, and then he rubbed, I think, B the wrong way. Prince, Tuesday. I don't know what he was doing to all these people, but maybe I missed it because I was drinking and dancing and taking pictures, but all I know is he rubbed half the cast the wrong way. So at this point, this is when stuff was happening and people were kind of aiming to get. We kind of knew that Jay was going to be the next one. So Prince is also on our team, and Prince is an exotic dancer. So he decided to also bring a performance, which were exotic dancers. And he also brought Derek J. If you guys don't know who Derek J is, Derek J was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't really know his role. I think he was a hairstylist. I don't really know who he is. Prince brought Derek J, and he also brought dancers, which you'll also continue to see throughout the episode, right? So then, I was not here for this conversation, but I was here for a little bit of it, okay? So apparently Mulatto wanted an all-female alliance because, you know, they already had LA go away, so she wanted to make sure the women can stay together pretty much. So from my understanding, she went and talked to V and said, you know, basically, I want to hear from you that you won't put me up, I won't put you up. Apparently, V took that the wrong way, and it kind of shook up the night a little bit. That was so dramatic, and I don't really know. Let me say this, and I don't have a problem with V, but I feel like V has a bad way of like making things up in her head and like being confused, because what Mulatto said, I don't know how that can come across as like a weird certain way. She wants to make an alliance, and she wants to hear from you, from your mouth, that you're not going to vote her out because she's going to do the same. And one thing about Mulatto that I know is like, when you say that, that's your word. Like, your word means something for her. So if you say you're going to do something, then do it. And I feel like that was pretty reasonable. So I don't really know why V felt away about anything, but we'll get more to V in a minute. This is also where you see when we get told that the part 2 of the challenge is that we have to get donations from our party guests to give to charity, right? Now, ding ding ding, T number 2. Okay, so this is T number 2. I told you guys Tonka was upset that we found out it was at Lulu's house, that the challenge was at Lulu's house, right? Tonka felt like he had a home court advantage and it wasn't fair. So Tonka was talking to, you know, the people that be the production, everyone else, like how he feels like it's not fair. He was telling everybody about it and everything. Once it was announced that we had a part 2 of a challenge, almost the whole other team felt like they did that because Tonka was upset. And if you guys look at the show and think about it, like that couldn't have been true, because literally as soon as they announced like we were going to do a part 2 of the challenge, which was the donations, they had framed Cash App logos with our team names on. So I want to know, when does anyone have the time to go to get a printer and print out that stuff and frame them for, you know, to help out Tonka, and because Tonka didn't like where the location was at. That didn't make sense to me. And same thing, and I would have understood that it wasn't a setup, even if I wasn't on that team, because I mean it's clear as day. Like there's no way the people that be the production is gonna run to Staples at 9 o'clock at night to get a frame and to print out some stuff. It does not really make sense. So that was just a lot of drama as well. Like it was so much drama with that, and of course I know you guys weren't able to see that, so that's why I'm here to give you the behind the scenes thing. But moving on from that, once we found out like we had to get donations, this is when me and Teach kicked in. Well, let me say this, Teach was kicked in the whole party. Like she was hosting her people, like everybody. She was mingling. One thing about Teach, she will mingle her behind off, and she worked hard. With me, I also did the same. Now I didn't hold the thing everywhere because Teach had it, but I was talking to people on the opposite team. Like me and Teach were going to everybody asking them to donate. And because we were making connections before we even thought about money, it was easier for anybody on our team to just be like, oh yeah, I can give some money to you. Because that's what we were doing. We were mingling with people because it was a house party. And we were being friendly, and we weren't being stush and trying to delegate stuff that can't not be delegated. So anyway, at this point, Melly is still complaining, and he's sad, and he's depressed, and he's like, oh my god, they're doing nothing. I can't wait to get this challenge over with. There's people that are floaters, and da 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 da. And it's just like, it's the same old song and dance, and it's like, please. Like, you're trying to be a buzzkill at a freaking house party. And, you know, Ty was lit. My friend, my buddy, he was lit, and he was dancing he was lit. And again, he was mingling and being social with everybody because it's a house party. And he had a good time, but of course Melly once again said that he was useless. And once he got drunk, he was useless. And I was just like, You obviously never been to a party, but that's neither here nor there. So now you guys are gonna see a lot more of these elite talks. And what elite talk is, it's usually a day or so after the challenge, and then it's like 2 of the contestants, and we have a conversation. Once again, majority of these elite talks I look a mess in because I was at the house, I was tired, and I was a lot heavier then than I am now, weight wise. So that also played a factor in a lot. But anyway, so we all had elite talks, right? So most of the elite talks were fine. So Ty and Mulatto had an elite talk. Theirs were fine. They were just kind of bantering back and forth. DJ and Jay had DJ is so beautiful. But anyway, DJ and Jay had an elite talk. Teach and Melly had an elite talk. Me and Tuesday had an elite talk. Tonka and Prince had an elite talk. Lulu and Sharad had an elite talk. And who was lastly match? Oh, King and me. So you guys see that we're all talking and talking. I'm not gonna go through each elite talk because it was really, some of them didn't really have that much stuff, but I need to point out key things concerning this. The V and King elite talk was very interesting to me. It's crazy to see, like, and like I said, I have no problem with anybody, but watching the show, it's crazy to see like people's perspectives and things. And it's very interesting to see like how some stuff can be made up in their head. Like, I mean, maybe it's not made up in their head, but it's kind of like, where'd you even get that from? But we'll get there. They said that Mulatto was being weird for saying like she wouldn't vote for her or stuff like that. And again, I don't understand how that came off weird, because like even when I have made an alliance with like other people outside of the big one or Ty, I said, yeah, I won't vote for you. I don't understand how that is weird when that's the name of the game. That's what you do. So, like I said, I don't understand I don't understand that at all. It's very, very confusing, and trying to figure out what they mean by that and their way of thinking is a task. Now, this is something I wanted to point out, and y'all know one thing about me, I'm gonna defend my friends. And y'all know, there's about, okay, now I have friends, right? And I try to defend all of them. But there's a good 2 that you ain't gonna play with. You ever say something crazy, I'm gonna find time to say something for them or defend them. And one of those people is Ty, just so y'all know. In the elite chat, King said that, he called Ty something, but he was like, he's way more chatty when the cameras are around, and he said that he told him like, you want to be my enemy so bad, and he was like, you don't know me well enough to joke with me, and all that stuff like that. And he was also referring to the conversation that they had on the first episode when it was time to vote people out. And I told you it was so much juicier than what they showed, and I'm glad they showed this clip of him and Ty like having their little back and forth or whatever. But all I want to say is like, I think there are people that are more chatty and do other things when the camera is around, and Ty's not, and he's not one of them from my experience and from a lot of other people's experience. Also, the spat that they had, like, I feel like if someone says something to you, or if someone says something to me in like a smart way, I'm gonna react in a smart way as well. Because in that whole conversation, it didn't have to be a lot. But King had a smart mouth, as y'all heard. He was like, yeah, I'm talking to you and stuff like that. Don't talk to me like that either. So, as Ty should have popped off when he popped off. And then to say that he wants to be your enemy so bad is just like, or to say like, whatever, the enemy comment, nobody was worried about King. I mean, and I think I said this in a couple confessionals later, but there are certain people that are just easy beats, and it's just like, King wasn't on anyone's radar as far as like a threat wise. So it's just like, there's no need to make an enemy out of King, and not in a bad way. It's just like, at that point in time in the competition, it was like, I mean, there was no way to know that he was a threat, especially if we're considering the first challenge. Like, there was no way to know if you were a threat or not. So yeah, that's all I can say about that. But okay, y'all. And then it kind of switched, because when King was talking about Ty, V randomly said, and that's how I feel about Tyler, because apparently she said that I seen her all day, and when I finally saw her, I said I haven't seen you all night. Now let me tell y'all something. and I mean no harm when I say this. V really be at this point, she really do be making up stuff in her head, and I just don't know what's going on, because when I saw her, it was the first time I saw her. I didn't see her. She was late. I was taking pictures. I was everywhere. I didn't see that girl. And also, might not have been checking that much. Like, if you want to be honest. So when I saw you, I was like, oh, I haven't seen you all day. Not really someone I'm looking for, honestly. So when she said that, I'm just like, what? And honestly, if y'all want to know more behind the scenes tea, when I went up to her, actually, me and Mulatto were having a conversation. And then when V had came, I think she said, are y'all talking about me or something like that? And I'm like, what? And then her and Mulatto having the conversation. And then I asked her, how you doing? And she was like, are you just saying that to say that? Are you being messy, or are you being a game player, or are you mean it? And I said, no, I mean it. I want to know how you doing. Like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't know all that drama happened. You want to know why I didn't know? Because I'm not in mess. And that didn't pertain to me. And I also did not care. Like I said, some people just aren't on your radar. And it wasn't a thought in my mind to care about what V got going on as far as that concerned. Like, yeah, when I'm asking you, yeah, I want to know what's going on. But besides that, I met you 2 days ago. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't have that much conversation with you. So it was just a miscommunication on her end, because it wasn't on mine, because I had no issue. And then she ended up saying she feels like me and Mulatto are in cahoots. And I think she said that because when she came up to us at the party, me and Mulatto was having a conversation. But, and I mean, in cahoots, we were an alliance. And if you want to be honest, me and Mulatto are very similar in different ways. It was just, that whole, like, V's and King's elite talk was so cringy and weird and just, like, almost delusional based. So, it's time for the next challenge and some behind the scenes tea number 3. The alliance, the core 4, as in Mulatto, Teach, Ty, and I, got on the phone and we had a conversation about so this is when we started to make our alliance resemble the Big Brother 24 alliance, where Tiffany, with the cookout and Tiffany, how she had, like, if you watch Big Brother, you know, but basically Mulatto felt like we should all have a guard, right? Have someone that is like your shield, right? So when we were talking, I can't remember everyone's, but I know Teach picked V. Ty was going to work on either Tuesday or Prince. I think he was going to work on Tuesday, Lulu, or Prince. Or it might have been Tuesday and Prince. I think he was working on one of those two, or something like that. And I said King or Lulu at that time, I want to say. And that's because I was trying to build a relationship with King and Lulu at the same time. And yeah. I think Mulatto, I forgot who Mulatto picked, but we all had to pick a shield or whatever. So when we got to this this next challenge, we we ended up asking about where Sherrod is, and we found out at the end of the episode that Sherrod had to leave due to family concerns. Now, because he left, we brought back LA. Now, I didn't have a problem with LA. I remember in the first episode I did a blind vote and I just did like a rogue vote, and I voted out DJ instead of LA. So I didn't mind LA being there. And I also didn't it was no shock value. And I know when she came, she was like, oh, you saw those faces? Like, some of them were happy, some of them were like jaw dropped. And I was like, oh, okay. You're like, oh wow, she gets to come back. It wasn't like a shock value, but it was cool that she came back and got to enjoy the show some more. When they were tallying up the votes, we found out that Team Red, aka my team, has won, and I was happy that we won because I just knew I was going home. Thank God, like, you know, we won, and each time we win, we had to decide who was going to be the MVP. Now, when it was announced that we had to do that, I automatically said Teach. And you guys didn't see this in the episode, so T number four. When this happened, I automatically said Teach because she worked hard and she worked the room and she was part of my alliance, so I wanted her to win. And when I said something, and Ty was like, yeah, I agree, I think it should definitely be Teach. And then we just all agreed that was Teach. And I knew at that time when I was there, Melly I felt like he felt away. I mean, because if, I don't know, it cut off, I'm sorry y'all. But I mean, I don't know, well known is a strong word. And if I'm not well known, that's totally okay. Because if I want to be well known, I want to be like, damn, Beyonce level or something like that. And I don't really want to be well known. I'm okay if I'm not well known in Atlanta. So that's including me when I say a lot of these people are not necessarily well known. In my opinion, I just don't know them. Now, I'm not gonna name who I do think are well known or not because that's not there. I'm not rude, but I'm just saying, like, we have to stop. We have to be humble, and we have to like really think about what words mean. And even if you guys want to be honest, T number 5, even at the premiere party, it was so weird. Like, it was a lot of comments of like, of that same type of verbiage, and it's just like, maybe I'm just lost and I'm not doing research, but it's just like, okay, like I don't know. But that's just my opinion on it. I think everyone is a great person. Like, everyone is an entrepreneur. Everyone has a name for themselves in some type of way. But I think humility is amazing, and I think humility lacks in this cast. And it's very weird. But yeah. So anyway, enough on that. So another conversation that T number 6. As you guys see in the show, Jay texts Melly that Mulatto was the mastermind of trying to get him out and get all the people out, right? The thing is, on our alliance call, Mulatto wanted to save Jay a lot. Mulatto wanted to save Jay. She wanted to be part of the alliance. And honestly, I was the one that was not sure about Jay because he's a specimen of a human. So, and he's a threat. So why would we not want to get him out? But Mulatto's reasoning for keeping him made sense, and I agreed. So when the other team had to start naming people who they wanted up, and he named V and Mulatto, that kind of sealed the deal. And he really thought Mulatto was trying to get him out, and it wasn't Mulatto. Because even in the elite chats, you see Teach and Melly talking, and Teach was like, I don't really want to say I want to get Jay out, and that's because we all had that conversation. So Jay was paranoid, and I think a lot of his actions in this episode, in the next episode, as you will see, it was just a moment because we'll get there. Pretty much, the episode ends with Jay and V being put up for elimination. And honestly, DJ was ready to go. Let me tell you about DJ. And I love DJ. DJ was cold. She said, I'm ready, because it was real cold outside. It was cold and dark. And she was just like, I'm ready to go. Y'all don't gotta pick nobody. I'm ready to go. Da, 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 da. But, you know, we'll see how that progresses. But Jay and V end up being up for elimination and see who goes home. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like I said, at this point, it's getting to the point where the episodes are a little more messier and the reviews might be a little bit longer. But I need you guys to remember everything because we're always gonna reference different things. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys subscribe to be sure you are back for the next review sometime soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.